But first, we begin with major breaking news overnight. A 5-year-old girl is dead after being thrown from the Dick Meisner Bridge in St. Petersburg, and police believe her father was the person who did it.
We have team coverage on this sad breaking news. Melissa Beckman is at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office this morning, where that man is being questioned. But first, let's go to Adrian Pedersen, who's coming to us live from Maximo Park in St. Pete. So, Adrian, what do we know?
Gail, such a sad story to tell you about this morning. I just talked to police a few minutes ago, and they tell me right now they're working to contact this little girl's mother. We still don't know the name of this 5-year-old, but police believe her own father was driving when he stopped and threw her off the bridge right here leading up to the Sunshine Skyway. I talked to a fisherman who helped in the search. He was devastated to hear this little girl didn't make it.
Just nothing that you can do about it, you know. You just feel like you're racing around and you feel your stomach's kind of got a little rumble to it, like, is that her? Is that her? Every time you see a wave break. Nothing you can do, though.
He certainly did everything he could to help. Now, we learned that Eckerd College Search and Rescue actually found the girl. Of course, crews tried to do CPR, but they couldn't save her. And I can tell you it is extremely dark and windy out here, and that made the search even more difficult. Now, we still don't know why this happened. An off-duty police officer saw the driver going 100 miles per hour, tried to pull him over. That man got out of the car and threw that little 5-year-old over the side of the bridge. That suspect is in custody. We'll have more on that in just a minute. In the meantime, I will be staying in touch with police all morning long, and I'll let you know, Gail, as soon as I get any more information about who this little girl was or why this terrible story happened.
So tragic. All right, thank you for the update, Adrian.
A child being thrown from a bridge in St. Petersburg by her own father. Our own Melissa Beckman is live this morning at the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. And Melissa, I understand that the father is now accusing this unthinkable crime, being questioned this morning. What do we know about this guy?
Good morning, Rod. Well, Manatee County deputies say they brought that man here, and St. Petersburg police tell us right now he is inside and they are questioning him, but he is not cooperating. We know Manatee County deputies took him into custody about a half hour after that officer watched him throw the little girl from the bridge. Manatee County deputies somehow stopped his car heading south on Interstate 75 near the University Parkway exit in Sarasota. Now, that car has since been towed back up to St. Petersburg. At this point, no one here in Manatee County will tell us exactly how he was stopped or if at that point he was being cooperative. But again, they do tell us this morning they are still asking him all these questions. We're also asking, has he been charged with anything yet? And at this point, we're being told no. For now, we're going to stay put here, though. We're going to keep asking questions. And Rod, just as soon as we get this man's name or how he was taken into custody or what he's been charged with, we'll let you know.
All right, Melissa, thank you so much for that live report.
We want to update you on breaking news right now. A 5-year-old girl is dead after being thrown from the Dick Meisner Bridge in St. Petersburg. You're looking live at the scene where this happened while you were sleeping. St. Pete police tell us an officer was driving home for the night when a car passed him at about 100 miles per hour. Now, the car stopped on the bridge, and this is where the tragedy happens. He tossed a child over and then sped off. Police caught up to the car in Manatee County. The Coast Guard helped find the little girl, but they could not save her. Right now, deputies are questioning the man in the car. We do have multiple crews on the scene working on this story right now, and we will bring you updates as soon as we get them on air and online at WFLA.com.
Right now, breaking news on News Channel 8 Today.
Good morning. I'm Gail Guayardo.
I'm Rod Carter. Thanks so much for joining us. Almost all of us are waking up to temperatures in the 30s this morning, and it may feel even colder outside. We're going to get to that big weather story for you in just a moment. But first, major breaking news overnight. A 5-year-old girl thrown from the Dick Meisner Bridge in St. Petersburg is dead this morning, and police believe her father was the person who did it.
News Channel 8's Adrian Pedersen is live in Maximo Park in St. Pete this morning to explain what led up to all this. Adrian?
Gail, such a tragedy. I just got an update from police about 5 minutes ago, and they tell me that the person they believe is behind this all, the person they think is this little girl's father, will be booked into the Pinellas County Jail coming up in the next 30 minutes. Now, we have our Melissa Beckman standing by there right now, and she will bring you an update as soon as she has any information. But in the meantime, I want to kind of tell you how this all unfolded. We still don't know this little girl's name just yet, and that's because police are working to contact her mom. Now, officers tell us they believe it was her father who threw her off the bridge right back here leading up to the Sunshine Skyway. Crews then began to search through the water for that little girl. I talked to one of the fishermen who helped in that search, and when he found out that little girl didn't make it, of course, he was devastated.
Heartbroken. Out there looking around in the dark going, we hit a couple of high bars looking as fast as we could to try and save somebody, but nothing you could do.
Just so terrible. We know that Eckerd College Search and Rescue found that little girl. Crews did CPR on her, but they couldn't save her. It is dark and windy out here, and that made the search even more difficult. We still don't know why this happened, but police tell us that an off-duty officer was driving near the Sunshine Skyway when he spotted someone going 100 miles per hour, tried to pull that person over. That's when the man got out of the car and threw that little girl over the side of the bridge. Now, again, we're expecting that man, who we believe is that little girl's dad, to be booked into jail within the next 30 minutes. And hopefully at that point, we'll have a better idea of why this happened and what he's being charged with. But of course, we're staying on this all morning long, and I'll bring you an update as soon as I get one. Back to you.
Just an absolutely horrible story. Heat and Adrian, you have some new information to pass along to us this morning.
That's right, Rod. This story is just so terrible, and we keep getting new information. I want to set the scene real quick and just show you right where this happened. This is the bridge just back here where police believe the father threw that little girl over. Now, I want to go ahead and show you this picture we just got from police within the last 10 minutes. In the picture, you can see the PT Cruiser that man was driving. And then if we want to go ahead and flip to the next picture, you eventually see some kind of car seat, a pink child safety seat that was in that car. And that is just heartbreaking to look at. So here's what we know about this. Police tell us an off-duty officer, he had just finished work, spotted a man going about 100 miles per hour speeding for the Sunshine Skyway. The officer tried to pull him over, but when that driver got out of the car, that's when he threw the 5-year-old girl off the bridge. I spoke with Yolanda Fernandez with St. Pete Police. Listen to this.
It's unfathomable. And officers see all kinds of things, but it's still very difficult to see something like this unfold right before your eyes. What could make someone throw a child over a railing, let alone your own child? How could you possibly understand that?
Such a terrible story, and this morning we're trying to get answers to some of those questions. We still don't know this little girl's name just yet. Police tell us they're working to talk to the mom right now and let her know what's happening. We're expecting to get the little girl's name shortly after that. I also want to tell you that coming up in just the next 15 minutes, we're expecting that man to be booked into the Pinellas County Jail. Now, at that point, we should get his name and hopefully be able to confirm that this is the little girl's father. We still have a lot of questions about this terrible story, and of course, we'll stay on it and bring you updates as soon as we can. For now, back to you.
Right now, breaking news on News Channel 8 Today.
We continue covering breaking news right now. We're getting our first look at the man that police say threw his daughter over a bridge overnight. That's him walking in front of the St. Pete Police Department.
Now, at this point, we do not know what led up to this horrific incident, but this all played out on the bridge that leads up to the Sunshine Skyway. Police officers are telling us that the man was speeding, going at rates of 100 miles per hour when they tried to stop him.
And when that deputy, that St. Pete police officer, I should say, who was off duty, tried to pull this man over, we are told that the man stopped and threw the baby over the bridge. And then immediately folks were called in to try to find the baby. They did. And unfortunately, though, they could not save her life.
It was actually a fisherman who saw this all happen as well. The 5-year-old little girl being tossed over the bridge by what police police are saying at the hands of her own father. He tried his best to save the child, but had no luck with that. We are sad to report this morning that the 5-year-old girl is dead.
All right, let's go now to Adrienne Pedersen. She has been covering this for us along with Melissa Beckman, and we also have Lindsay Mastis, who's in place as well. But we'll start with Adrienne.
Rod, we continue to get these sad updates, and just within the last few minutes, we confirmed with St. Pete Police that, in fact, it was this girl's own father who threw her off the bridge right back here leading up to the Sunshine Skyway. I want to go ahead and show you a picture that we just got within the last 20 minutes from St. Pete Police of the PT Cruiser that man was driving. Now, again, he was going about 100 miles per hour when an officer saw him, tried to stop him. That's when he hopped out of the car and tossed the kid off the bridge. Such a tragedy. You can also see the car seat in that car, which just breaks your heart. Now, I did talk to a fisherman who tried desperately to find this little girl in the water. Listen to this.
Just nothing that you can do about it. You know, you just feel like you're racing around and you feel your stomach's kind of got a little rumble to it. Like, is that her? Is that her? Every time you see a wave break. Nothing you can do, though.
Eckerd College Search and Rescue eventually found that girl. Crews tried to do CPR right away, but unfortunately, again, they could not save her. Now, it is extremely dark and windy out here. That made the search even more difficult. We still don't know why this happened. When I talked to someone with St. Pete Police, they're telling me that the father is not being cooperative this morning, not giving up a lot of information. So we still don't have that 5-year-old's name just yet or what charges that man will be facing. But of course, we're keeping you updated. We have 3 crews working this, and we'll let you know as soon as we get more information on this tragedy.
We continue following breaking news and have some updates on the child who was killed, thrown from a bridge in St. Petersburg by her father. Lindsay Mastis is live at the St. Pete Police Department this morning, where we just got our first look at the victim's father, the suspect in this case, and we now have names to report.
That's right, Rod, we do. And I'm here live with Yolanda Fernandez, spokeswoman for the St. Petersburg Police Department. What is his name and what is his daughter's name?
Well, his name is John Chuck Jr. He lives in Tampa, and we understand that he's had custody of the child for a couple of years now. Her name is Phoebe John Chuck. She's 5 years old.
Okay, and you told me that the officer who saw all this happen, he's been interviewed as well. What did he see exactly?
Well, he was headed home, and he saw this cruiser. It's called the PT Cruiser. The Chrysler is the name of the car. Came by him at a high rate of speed, probably going 100 miles an hour. And then he didn't pursue initially, but the car stopped just a short time later, and he caught up to it, and he saw it was stopped at the Dick Meisner Bridge. So he pulled up. He was just a car length away, and when he wasn't sure what he was going to encounter, so he got out of the car, and he said, you know, police, and the man reached into the back seat, grabbed his little girl, held her under the arms, and then threw her over the railing into the water. Now, the officer heard the splash and immediately tried to climb down underneath the bridge to the platform underneath it to try to see if he could save her, but the current was very strong there.
And you say the officer knows for a fact that she was alive at that time?
Yes, he's very certain that she was alive when she was thrown over that railing.
And I understand that there was a pursuit, and he ended up turning around the wrong way on the highway. What did you guys have to do to get him?
Well, we did pursue him as he crossed over the Skyway Bridge and into Manatee County. We understand then he went over into to 75. From 275, he crossed over into Interstate 75, and he did a U-turn, and he was actually going southbound in the northbound lanes. So Manatee County threw stop sticks out. We were able to flatten his tires and stop him, and that's where we took him into custody.
All right, thank you very much for letting us know all these details. And as we've been told that this little girl, she's got a lot of family that cares very much for her. That's why it took them a little time to put the names out. They wanted to make sure that not just her mother knew, but also that some other of her family members knew exactly what happened. They didn't want them to turn on the news this morning and hear these names until they already were told properly. Reporting live at the St. Petersburg Police Department, I'm Lindsay Mastis. Rod, back to you.
All right, Lindsay, thanks so much.